A dramatic and highly controversial claim is rapidly spreading across Middle Eastern media, raising urgent questions about what may have happened behind the scenes of a recent missile strike. According to reports originating from outlets connected to officials in Iran, a strike against a heavily protected Israeli leadership compound may have had a far more consequential objective than initially believed. The claim suggests that the real target could have been none other than Israel's Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu. If such an allegation were ever confirmed, it would represent one of the most serious and direct escalations in the long-running confrontation between Israel and Iran, potentially marking a moment where the shadow conflict between the two states crossed into an unprecedented level of direct political targeting. An explosive narrative began circulating across regional media after Iranian sources claimed that a recent missile strike targeting a highly secured facility in Israel may have been aimed at something far more significant than infrastructure alone. According to the reports, the operation was allegedly directed at a compound connected to the upper tiers of Israel's political and security leadership. Commentators within Iranian media quickly framed the strike as a calculated and strategic action designed to send a powerful message. Their interpretation suggested that the target was not merely a military installation, but a location closely associated with national command and decision-making structures. Within hours of the claim emerging, speculation began spreading widely across international commentary platforms, with analysts debating whether the strike was intended to demonstrate Iran's ability to reach deeply protected leadership facilities. At the center of these discussions was the suggestion, still unverified, that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu could have been present inside the complex at the time of the attack. Iranian commentary surrounding the incident presented the alleged strike as part of a broader strategic signal within the long and complex rivalry between Iran and Israel. Television networks and political analysts aligned with Iranian perspectives emphasized that the location reportedly targeted plays a central role in Israel's leadership infrastructure. These types of compounds are designed to host senior officials during times of heightened security risk, providing reinforced protection, underground facilities, and secure communication systems capable of supporting high-level wartime decision-making. According to the narrative promoted in Iranian broadcasts, the strike allegedly involved advanced missile systems capable of penetrating fortified structures. Commentators described the weapons as engineered to breach reinforced layers of protection before detonating, suggesting that the operation demonstrated a capacity to reach even the most heavily defended political centers. While these descriptions created dramatic headlines across the region, the precise details of the strike, including the level of damage or the exact target, have not been independently verified by outside observers. Adding to the intensity of the unfolding speculation was the absence of an immediate public appearance from Benjamin Netanyahu in the hours following the claims. The Israeli leader is widely known for addressing the public during major security developments, often delivering televised statements when the country faces military threats. When no immediate press conference, speech, or recorded video message appeared, the silence quickly became a topic of discussion across political commentary programs and social media platforms. Some analysts suggested that the absence could simply be the result of standard wartime security protocols, which sometimes limit public exposure of high-ranking officials following sensitive incidents. Others, however, interpreted the delay as a possible indication that authorities were still assessing the situation behind closed doors. In an environment already shaped by intense regional tensions, even routine security measures can easily be interpreted in dramatically different ways, fueling speculation that spreads far beyond the original claims. Experts in regional security caution that statements emerging during confrontations between Iran and Israel often form part of a wider information struggle accompanying the military dimension of the conflict. For decades, the rivalry between the two states has unfolded not only through covert operations and proxy confrontations, but also through strategic messaging intended to influence domestic audiences and international perception. In that context, presenting a missile strike as targeting a leadership compound, or even suggesting that a national leader may have been present, can carry significant psychological and political impact. Such narratives may be designed to project deterrence, signal capability, or shape the broader narrative of strength during a period of escalating tension. Analysts therefore emphasize that early claims made during active confrontations should be approached cautiously until independent evidence emerges to confirm the details. As the story continues to circulate across global media networks, observers around the world are closely watching for clearer evidence that could confirm or refute the dramatic claims. Without satellite imagery, official investigative findings, or direct confirmation from authorities in Israel, the incident remains surrounded by uncertainty. At present, there is no verified proof that a strike was specifically aimed at the personal location of Benjamin Netanyahu, nor that the Prime Minister was inside the facility described in the reports. Yet the speed with which the allegation spread illustrates how rapidly geopolitical narratives can evolve during periods of crisis. In conflicts where information travels almost as quickly as military action, even unconfirmed reports can reshape global discussions about security, escalation, and the fragile balance of power in the Middle East. Whether the claim ultimately proves accurate or not, it has already intensified scrutiny of the ongoing confrontation between Iran and Israel and highlighted how close the rivalry between the two states remains to the edge of a far more dangerous escalation. The dramatic claims surrounding the alleged missile strike and its supposed connection to Benjamin Netanyahu illustrate how quickly narratives can escalate during periods of geopolitical tension. At the center of the story is a claim originating primarily from media outlets and commentators linked to officials in Iran, suggesting that a missile strike targeted a compound associated with Israel's leadership and may have been intended to reach the Israeli Prime Minister himself. Such a scenario, if ever confirmed, would represent a major turning point in the confrontation between Israel and Iran. Targeting a sitting head of government through a direct missile strike would move the conflict beyond indirect confrontation and into a far more dangerous phase of open escalation. However, when examining the situation carefully, several critical factors must be considered before drawing conclusions. First, the claims themselves currently rely heavily on sources aligned with one side of the conflict. In modern conflicts, especially those involving rivals with long histories of covert competition and strategic messaging, early reports frequently form part of an information battle. Governments and affiliated media outlets sometimes frame events in ways that emphasize strength, deterrence, or strategic reach. In the case of the alleged strike, presenting it as an operation capable of targeting the political leadership of Israel sends a powerful symbolic message. Even if the physical target was simply a military or administrative facility, describing it as part of Israel's leadership infrastructure can amplify the perceived impact of the operation and influence audiences both domestically and internationally. Second, the absence of immediate independent verification is a crucial factor. For an event as significant as a direct attempt on the life of the Israeli Prime Minister, confirmation would normally emerge quickly through multiple channels. Satellite imagery analysis, official government statements, intelligence leaks, or reports from international media organizations. So far, such confirmation has not appeared. This does not necessarily mean that no strike occurred, but it does suggest that the more dramatic elements of the story, particularly the suggestion that Benjamin Netanyahu himself was the intended target, remained speculative rather than established fact. Another element that fueled speculation was the temporary lack of a public appearance from Netanyahu following the reports. In highly tense security environments, however, it is not unusual for national leaders to limit their public visibility. Security services often alter schedules, relocate officials, or temporarily restrict communications when assessing potential threats or damage from attacks. What might appear as unusual silence to the outside world can sometimes simply reflect routine crisis management procedures. In the context of an active regional confrontation, such precautions are often taken out of an abundance of caution rather than as a response to a specific incident involving the leader directly. The broader geopolitical context also plays a crucial role in understanding the story. The rivalry between Iran and Israel has evolved over decades into a complex conflict involving intelligence operations, cyber attacks, regional proxy groups, and occasional direct military exchanges. Many of these confrontations occur below the threshold of full-scale war, but they are frequently accompanied by intense propaganda and narrative shaping. Both sides attempt to demonstrate capability and resolve, often using public messaging to influence how each event is interpreted globally. In this environment, dramatic claims about leadership targets can serve strategic communication objectives even if the underlying facts are more limited. Ultimately, the most responsible conclusion at this stage is that the situation remains uncertain. There is currently no verified evidence confirming that a missile strike was specifically intended to assassinate Benjamin Netanyahu or that he was present at the location reportedly targeted. The allegations appear to be part of a rapidly evolving information landscape shaped by wartime narratives, incomplete reporting, and geopolitical rivalry. Until independent verification emerges, through credible investigative reporting, official confirmation, or verifiable imagery. The story should be treated as an unconfirmed claim rather than an established event. What the episode clearly reveals, however, is how fragile and volatile the current relationship between Iran and Israel has become. Even unverified reports of attacks on political leadership can rapidly spread across global media, fueling speculation about escalation and raising concerns about the possibility of a broader regional crisis. In an era where information travels instantly and narratives can shape perceptions within hours, distinguishing between confirmed facts and strategic messaging has become as important as analyzing the military events themselves.